Just getting my camera set up on the desk. Oh, I think that's right. I think we're there. Hello, everyone. Now I need to get my chat up so I can see that as well, because I'm hoping some people will join me. I am just going to finish drinking my coffee because if I don't do it now, I will forget and everything will go cold, which is don't like cold coffee. So you can probably just see in the corner here, that's the set we're going to be playing with today. That's the Thoughtful Wishes set. So I don't know if any of you have got that. Be interesting to see how many have. I think I've got everything else I needed over here. Yeah. Oh, hopefully got everything I'm seeing. I'm also going to show the Unbounded Love stamp set and dies because I think we might use those for sentiments. Haven't decided yet because today is going to be a you can help me decide what I'm going to do today. So if you are joining me, please do let me know you're there and tell me where you're from so that I can find out. You'll see I'm in shirt sleeves. It's actually not too cold here today. Hopefully we're going to get some decent weather. The sun is actually shining, although we're in the middle of a warning for thunderstorms. So who knows? I'm hoping we can get the live done before we lose any power or something like that, because that would be a disaster. But I should be live in both Facebook and YouTube now. Oh, yeah, there's a couple of people joining, which is lovely. Do let me know where you're from and who you are. I'm just going to swap the pictures over so that you can see my coffee. I am drinking it. I will drink it to get it out of the way because otherwise I'll end up not drinking it and it'll get too cold, which is crazy. So you can have a look at the stamp set we're going to be using for now. Having a slurp of coffee. It's a beautiful set. It's Thoughtful Wishes. It's part of a suite. I think there is some paper to go with it. Just using the stamp set and dies today. But it's got some lovely sentiments, as you can see there. Dearest friend, thinking of you fondly. Thanks, missing you. Appreciate you. You make life better. All of those things, which is lovely. So, yeah, that's the set we're going to be using. It's got these lovely flower pictures, flower images, and the dies are fantastic. Let me show you those. Having another quick slurp of coffee. I really must get myself more together so I can finish my coffee before I start this. But these are the dies. You can see I've actually cut the piece down so it actually fits in the case. Where the dies really do fit with the stamps, I do try and keep them in the case. And often you can just cut them in half. But there's so many dies, as you can see, in this set, in this bundle, that it doesn't quite fit out to cut it to make it fit in the case. So yeah, some of the stamps are missing because I've already got them out ready on blocks. But there is a big leaf stamp, and that can be cut out using this stamp here. There is this thistly stamp, which is cut out using this one. I think it's a thistle more than anything. And then there is a small group of flower stamp, which we're going to be using. That doesn't have a die to match it, but there are loads of other dies. There's this one, which is like a stem with some flowers on the top. There's this one, which is just like a green stem. There's lots of different leaves. And there is another little flower bud die here. So amazing. And these are sort of like oak leaves. They're sort of shaped like oak leaves. Those as well. And these are sort of straight, sort of just general leaves. I don't know anything about trees. I can't tell you what leaves they are. So that is the bundle. Really nice bundle, as I say. And there is paper and all sorts else to go with it. But I'm just going to use that today. And I'm also going to use some tools because I thought it's a little while since I've when I've done colouring recently, I've done it nearly all with blends, and there's plenty of other tools. I'm going to use the wishes, what am I talking about? My phone's just beeped. Oh yes, thank God. I'm always worried that somebody will call on the phone or something and I'll lose the picture, but hey, that's the perils of having to use the phone as my camera, but it does work. Okay, so I have got some various bits together. So one of the tools I'm going to use, I've obviously used my trimmer to cut my card, but I'm also going to use these, these are just the cases I keep them in. These are our little sponge daubers, and they're so useful for adding some colour to things. So I'm going to show you a way to use them today to make the card. Just wondering where I put all it. Oh, there. I thought I'd lost all the bits to the card, but no, they're here. That's good. So I've got Lemon Lolly stamp pad because I'm going to use that. I'm also going to be using Old Olive, which I don't seem to have got out. So that's crazy. Right, I'll get my Old Olive pad. Oh, I thought I'd got everything ready, but obviously I haven't. So I'll get Old Olive and Lemon Lolly. And I've already done some die cutting. And these are the 3 dies I've just shown you. So that's the sort of just the leaf die. You can't see them very well on that. Let me put them back on the white so you can see. I'll put them on the envelope to show you. There we go. So we've got the leaf die, and I've just cut that out in Old Olive. And I've cut the little bud die and also this one with the flowers on the end of the stems. I cut them out of Pretty in Pink. And then I've used my Stampin' Right marker to colour the stems so that they're Old Olive. So I could have cut them all out of white and coloured them. That's another way to do it, and coloured the whole lot. And I've also, on the flowers, I don't know if you can see, can I get the detail close enough? I'm not sure you can see, I've just lost the sun. It's gone a little bit dark here. But I've actually used the Pretty in Pink marker just to mark, try not drop those, just to mark the sort of, there's little indentations in the flower heads. And I've used the Pretty in Pink marker just to pick those out. So I don't know if you can see those very well, but that's what I've done. Little detail, which is very good for close up on the card. So I've already prepared those bits, my die cuts. So let's get on with the rest of the card. As I say, if you've got any questions, then please do ask, or let me know where you're from, or anything at all. I'm just going to finish my coffee. So there's my big leaf stamp. Right, so I've got my big leaf stamp out, that's this one, and I've cut out those bits from the dies. So we're going to start by using the sponge dauber and my lemon lolly. I'm choosing this as the background. So this is a way to make a nice little background for the card. So just to tell you what I've got in terms of cardstock ready, I've got my normal card base, 21 by 10.8, scored at 10.5, or 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25 for our American friends. And then I've got a layer. The first layer is 10 by 14.3, or 4 inches by 5.25. The second layer is 9.5 by 13.8, or 3.75 by 5. So 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimetre smaller for each layer. And that's what will form here. So we're going to work with the front layer, the card. Just put those to one side for a minute. And my sponge daubers, by the way, I buy lots of them. And then I've got them for, oh, I can't open it, there we go, all the different colours. And I do tend to write on them the sort of colours I've used. So I have previously used this one for Soft Sky. Obviously, I haven't got that at the moment. So I'm going to use this very light colour for the for Lemon Lolly, because that will be fine. Could use this one. That was So Saffron. That would do for lemon. Actually, I might use that one. So Saffron would do for Lemon Lolly. So I'm just going to use the dauber to actually sort of make a background, because I'm going to have my sort of flowers in this sort of, this piece here of the card, and then I've got room to have a sentiment at the top. So I'm just going to pick up the colour by just dabbing it. Fits over your finger, the dauber. And I'll just get a bit of scrap paper, which has got obviously previous stamps on, that's fine, just to dab off any excess colour. And then I'm just going to use the dauber just to dab around and provide a sort of bit of a background here. It's going to just be behind. You can see how much ink it picks up. You really don't need a lot on here. And just make that a sort of vague background, which hopefully is big enough. Let's test that against here. I don't need it a little bit bigger. So make it a little bit bigger and wider, just to make sure it's behind where I'm going to be stamping. Take it right closer to the edge as well. I've got a layer, it's not right to the edge of the card or anything. And that just provides, see how quickly I did that. If I bring it closer, you might see the detail in it. It's just like a sort of dotted-y, just a variegated, sort of nice little sort of generic background. Hi, Margaret, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. So yeah, there we go. Really simple, easy background. And just to add some interest on that, I am going to use the little splatter stamp from the stamp set, which is this one, and just add some deeper colour bits around the edge here. So just ink it up and then just add a few deeper little specky bits. mainly at the top here because I want them to be behind the flowers, but we'll have them all round. Just adding a little bit more detail. Oh, have fun with this. So just a little bit more detail. Put some in the middle as well, why not? Yeah, quite like that. And shall I put some? I have thought I might put some in the corners. That might be a bit too much. What should we do? Where's my scrap bit of paper? Let's see what these look like. Let's get a fairly white bit of it. Yeah, I might put some in the corner just to go behind the sentiment. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, there you go. Any more ideas? Let me have them. See what other ideas you might have. But I quite like that. So that's my background, and that's what I've done as my background. I might now. Yeah, I think I might use my little splatters, my envelope as well. Quite like them. I do like this sort of vague sort of just please yourself, just put it wherever you want type stamping. Yeah, I quite like those. Nice little splatters. I do like a nice grungy sort of background. Hello, Liz. Lovely to see you. Where are you from? I'm not sure where you live, but thank you for joining me. And lovely to see you. Put those in there. Just my cleaning cloth. So I'm going to put this away before I lean in it, because that's quite likely, to be honest. So, shut properly, that's it. So I'm now going to use my big stamp here. And this is the big leaf stamp from the set. So I'm going to use this. I don't want it on the envelope. Let me use it on my background. So we're just going to stamp this as a sort of generic background here, just in the old olive. So I've inked up the stamp. It's a sort of open stamp, if you like. It's hasn't got full. The leaves aren't solid. They've just got veins up them. There we go. And then I am going to use. Should have got this down before. Oops. Actually, I'm going to use my blend. Where's that? Oh, can't find it. Yes, I can. There it is. I've got all my tools. I couldn't find it. This is the blender pen. I told you I'd go through some of the things we've got. Got two ends, a thinner end and a bigger one. And if you just rub it round an ink to image before it dries, I should have been a bit quicker with this, you can just pick up some of that colour and bring it in. I've let it dry a bit too much there with not finding it. So let me show you another way to use that. If you close your ink pad and then squeeze it really hard. Canada. Wow, Liz, that's... I dread to think what time it is there. This is the early call, isn't it? Yes, I remember last week hearing that. So that didn't pick very much up, but a little bit. You can actually squeeze some of the ink onto the lid and then pick it up with your pen, your blender pen, and then you can just fill in some colour there. So I just want to fill in some colour around the leaves here. Might need to squeeze a bit more. I think I was distracted by seeing Canada and forgot to squeeze it very hard. Let me try again. I must admit, our older ink pads are a lot easier to do this with than these new ones. I hope that's better. Just need to squeeze hard. There we go. So I can pick it up with my blender pen and just fill in the leaves a little bit. So bear with me while I just do this. Take a little while because I don't want to make a mess of this. So has anyone ever coloured with blender pens before? It's really good fun. Who's got a blender pen? It's one of the tools. I think it's one of the essential tools that actually we don't use enough. So we can use it to bring colours together if you're using markers, or if you want to take a little bit of colour off, it works actually quite well for that. Really useful. So there we go. That's just coloured in filled in the leaves a little bit. So I want to be a little bit careful, because if you put too much on, it gets a little bit wet, which isn't good. And then to clean these, all you need to do is, on a piece of paper, you just scribble. And as you can see, all the colours coming out. No colour left there, just the blender thing coming through. Still a bit, looks like a bit on the tip, but I don't think there is any colour left. It's just stained it. There. So that's how to clean them. You just scribble on a piece of paper until all the colour goes, and then you can use them obviously for the next colour along. So yeah, squeezing your ink pads, my first tip. 7 a.m. Oh my goodness. I'm never alive at 7 a.m. I'm very much an evening, but I'm an owl. I don't, they call ox and owls. My husband's actually a lark, but I'm an owl. Very definitely an owl. I can stay up till all hours, that's no problem, but I find getting up early is really hard. Right, so there is my coloured in plant. There we go. And then I have my other bits here, which I'm going to just stick on top. Now, I've got, so I just want these to sort of, I don't know, group along. I'm not sure this one actually, yeah, I might stick just with that one actually. Or stick that one at the side. Who knows? I don't want to waste it. I can always keep it somewhere. Might keep it for something else. Right, so these I'm going to stick on, and I'm going to show you another little technique that I use. Now, not everybody likes this. Some people find it a little bit messy, but I think it's a great way to do it. And it's using glue, and you can try and put little dobs on, which is fine on these sort of really thin leaves, but you know, that could take forever to do this sort of size. So I find if you just put a little bit of glue on the back of your hand. There we go. You're a night owl, but you only sleep about 3 hours a night. Oh my goodness. Do you know, I think, was it Margaret Thatcher only needed to sleep for 4 hours or something, which I always felt very envious of. So once you've got the glue on the back of your hand, you can just literally dab your image into it. It's messy, but I'm a messy crafter, as you know. And I've done that one first, and I should have done the other one first. Okay, stop talking and concentrate, Carol. Right, so I'm just going to dab it in. And as you can see, it goes everywhere around your hand. Doesn't matter. Because once you've finished with it, you can just peel off any glue that's left or rub it off. So I'm just going to stick this on. You can, you know, so I'm not trying to raise it at all. Put it up on dimensionals or anything. You can't with these really small images. And I'll have the flower coming out like that. There we go. Should have brought that other one a bit further across. I wonder if I can just ease it off for a minute. Nope, it's going to stick down. I don't want to break it again. Right, we'll leave it like that. So it gives a little bit of dimension on the card without really lifting it up. So that's the basis of the card. I'm now covered in glue. So as I say, you can just rub it off as it dries. If you just rub, you rub my fingers into my palm, and that rubs off any glue that's stuck to them there. It just rubs off like, you know, like the bits of rubber when you've been rubbing something out. That's how it sort of comes off. And then when that's fully dry, more or less dry now, I'll show you. You can just rub at your skin and see how it just comes off in bits that then can just tip into the bin. So there we have my very messy looking dirty hands, but that's got rid of all the glue off them. But it's a nice little way to do intricate images and just get some glue on them without spending forever trying to get little tiny dabs with your Tombow, which is just hard, you know. Right, so I've shown you various tools. Obviously the trimmer to cut things. I've got the blender pen. I've used the daubers. I've used the back of my hand glue. That's my tip for that. That doesn't cost anything. Right, just get rid of that for a minute. Let us choose a sentiment. I wonder if I could put that on there. What do you think? Do you think that looks okay on there or not? It's a different type of flower, you see. No, come off. Right. I shall leave it in here and use it in some other project sometime. So we have some lovely sentiments on here. There's a thanks, which I'm very tempted to use. And I think I might add a little bit more interest. Do you know what? I don't think so, because I'd cover up my what's-its. So I think I'll just use my thanks. What else have we got? Thinking of you fondly, dearest friend. I appreciate you. That's nice, isn't it? You make life better. Oh, I like that one too. You make life better. Let's have that one. I like that one. Right, you make life better. Why not? And I'm just going to do this in Memento, and we're just going to stamp it over where I put those sort of blobby bits there as the background. So rather than actually cutting it out in a frame or anything like that, I'm just actually going to stamp into where the blobby bits are. So it's just behind there. You make life better. There we go. So, what do you think? Try and hold it so you can actually see it. So there we go. You make life better. Yeah. With some flowers and leaves. Just a little bit of dimension. It's not really sticking up. You can, if I turn it, can you see it? And yeah, you can see there's not much dimension. It's sticking out, but not sticking up so much. Because sometimes you want a sort of flatter card, really. And I'm going to put layers on the card anyway. So to finish the card, finish up. Oh, I was going to show you one more technique, actually. And I've got a bit of glue there. That's interesting. Where did I get that bit of glue there? No, just a bit of dry glue that's scraped off. That's fine. Right. So I'm going to make up the card. And one thing I did think of was you could actually then run this through an embossing fold if you wanted. Something that's not a very heavy pattern, but just a little bit of a pattern would be nice for the background as well. But now I've stuck the flowers on, I think it's too late to do that. So I meant to do it and forgot. All the best laid plans. Right, so we'll make up this card, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the inside. So put the layer on first. I think I've mentioned this before, but when you cut with the trimmer, one side of the card always has a bit of an edge, if you like. Now you can flatten it. If you use your bone folder and just run it over, it'll flatten it, so it's not a problem. But I would always make that the back. So this is my layer. This is going to be the back of the layer. So that's where I put the glue. That's how I know which side to use to actually put the glue on. A little bit there. There we go. And because I haven't built up any layers here, I could actually put the whole thing up on a layer. No, I think I'll just have it flat, but it's okay. I was thinking of adding a layer by actually putting the sentiment up on dimensionals, but then I decided to put the background behind it instead. So who knows? So there we have the finished front of the card. Finish the card. I should have done that first, really. Bent the card. Where's my bone folder? There we go. I can just do it now. Just run the bone folder over it to fix the card together. So there we have it. You make life better. And just using, so what I've done for the techniques here, I've just used a dauber to just dab on some of the colour behind to form the background, stamped on top of the background, and then added some die cuts on top of that. Just use the spotty stamp, the little splatter stamp behind the sentiment there. You can see that so well, but anyway, it is there. Oh, thank you, Liz. Very pretty. Thank you. So we just need to finish the inside. Now, this is a, you make life better type thank you type card. So I don't want to be using too much in there because obviously I don't know what I'm going to write to people. I might write, it might be a cheery thank you, or it might be a sort of quite sad, you make life better. I don't know, just a generic thank you for being my friend or whatever. So I don't really want to put a sentiment inside because I don't know what I want to say until I decide to send the card. So I'm bringing this scrap paper in again because I'm going to use just the corner of this stamp to put here, just in the corner here. There we go. So that's just that little bit of the stamp. I don't want the full stamp in there, but just to give a little bit of interest. And actually, I could do the same on the envelope. I've used splatters. I'm going to put splatters behind that now. Yeah, I might use this on the envelope as well and just put a couple of leaves behind. So I'm using a piece of paper underneath so that I can ink up my stamp and stamp off, and then I'm not getting it on my desk. I'm just getting any bits on the paper here, which is fine. So just clean that stamp. To clean the sentiment stamp as well. And the splatter, I'm going to put behind in the card. So I've already put it on the envelope. I'm going to do it back on the card. So I'd used lemon lolly for that. Just get that out again. And my little splatters here. I'm just going to put some splatters behind. Doesn't matter which order you do these things in. I could have stamped the card and then put the daubing behind, but there. I could fill the leaves in as well. That might not be a bad idea, because then they match the front better. Do that on there. So again, I'll use my blender pen and my squeezed ink pad. So I've got some ink on the lid of the ink pad. Remember, never put any water near here, or if you do, make sure it's very, very, very dried up before you try and close the ink pad. You don't want to use water. This is just the blender pen. It's got its own liquid in. I've no idea what the liquid is actually, but it's some form of something that just comes out and helps us blend some colours, which is lovely. Colouring is a very restful thing, isn't it? I can understand why people buy colouring books. I remember once we had a holiday in a tent. It was me and my friend, and we were with my parents, and we ended up in this tent all week, and it literally rained every single day. So we went out to the local shop and we bought a colouring book and some crayons, and my friend and I just sat and coloured all week. We didn't have anything else with it. We had books, obviously, but you can't read. Even me, and I read a lot of books, even I can't read all day, every day. So we had to do something else. And I remember buying this colouring book and crayons and us sitting just colouring a child's colouring book. Yeah, it passed the time. We just couldn't go out anywhere. It really was disgusting weather that holiday. There we go. So there it is. Just show you again just how you can just scrape off the colour. You just keep using the pen until nothing's coming through, it's clear, and then your pen is clean to use with any other colour you wish to. So don't forget blender pens, folks, they're so useful. So there is my envelope. Just pop that away. There is the inside of my card, front of my card, and I hope you like that card. Just a very different one. I'm going to be using this set in another way on Friday, the post that comes out on Friday. So this blog, I'll take a picture of this and put all the instructions in the blog. That should be out around tea time today, depending on how quickly I can get it written. And then there'll be my usual recorded YouTube video that'll come out on Friday morning. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you liked the card. I hope it gave you some ideas, because you can do this with any set and any card. You don't need the same set I've got. You could use any flowery set, anything you might have, any particular sentiment you want. You can just do it straight on a card front. You don't even need the layers that I've used. But it's a nice, simple way to just get a coloured background and just raise a card. If I'd just used these pictures, it would have been a little bit stark, a little bit empty, but by using the colour on the background, it's just filled it in a bit. So thank you, Liz. Thanks you for sharing, you've said. That's very kind of you. I just love sharing what I do. So thank you for joining me today. I will see you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock for live. And yeah, hopefully you'll have a go at playing with these techniques and see how you get on. Thanks for joining me.